Yo, what up, ladies and gentlemen? Go ahead and grab yourself some popcorn and chips because I'm finna rant. Yes, sir, I'm finna rant, and we're gonna talk about Neverwinter. But before I get into all that detail, I would like to thank everybody that's been supporting this channel so far, all the likes and subscriptions. I really appreciate that. Before the end of the year hits, I really want to hit 500 subscribers. So if you could, go ahead and share this to like friends and your family or whoever. And yeah. And then in the background, I also have like some Neverwinter gameplay, and you know, it will just be there in the background while I'm rambling and talking over stuff. But in this video, we'll go over like Module 31, the half module, classic Neverwinter idea, the Neverwinter surveys they just did not too long ago, the state of the current Neverwinter, what I would like to see in Neverwinter, and then the most recent ridiculous celestial boxes that they just released not too long ago. And yeah. Alrighty, let's get into Module 31. Let's start with A side. In my opinion, 80% of the gear was kind of useless, which means, in my opinion, like another failed module for like those early to mid game players. The weapon sets were, they weren't that good, and yeah, yeah. I think most of the people just grab the gear from there just for item level, which is not the way you should be gaining item level. If you're gaining item level, it should be like a major increase, like your insignias or whatever. Another thing I want to talk about during this module, the Azov companion came out, and when it first came out as a companion enhancement bonus, it gave 9% crit strike and crit save, and a lot of the player base was using that for their builds. I don't know if some people know that, but yeah, it was really good. And then Deca, I guess, they decided to just say fuck it and reverted it and was like, yeah, 18% stats is too much. Well, why would you release it? That just doesn't make any sense. And this happened like early module 31 too, so it's like a slap in the face for a lot of us because a lot of people were using that in their builds. Like it's starting to get, I wouldn't say harder, but it's a little bit more technical when like capping your stats, especially as a DPS, because there's 5 stats you have to cap at all times, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, so it used to be like on chance on hit, your companion would give you 9% crit strike and crit save, and then they reverted it to just 9.6 crit save, which is okay, but like still, like why not just let that companion set a standard for like future companions to be released? You know, it's 18% stats. Like, sorry, I have a little cold going on. But let's just say, for example, like they released another companion later down online, and it gives in the companion enhancement bonus, it gives like 9% power to you and 9% accuracy to yourself as well. Like that would be really, really great. But they just decided like, hey, that's not the norm. That's not what we intended. Blah 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 blah. Lies, 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 and they reverted it back. So a lot of people were pissed off about that. A lot of people left the game. Um, I personally think it was just a cash grab yet again. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about is the auction house as well. A lot of stuff weren't as sellable. Were there are as sellable, but that's gonna lead to my last claim about the celestial boxes or whatever. But yeah, the campaign. Oh, don't get me started on the campaign. So in the campaign, the first month of module 31, maybe even the second month too, was just awful. You could not do any of the heroics. They were broken. You couldn't like complete them even with a strong like I even had like a good strong like in-game group trying to complete that shit the first or second week, and bro, it's just impossible. There's just too many mobs. There's too many bosses. The mechanics were I ain't gonna say like they weren't doable,
Mm-hmm.
but like
See,
even with
I
the
knew you'd
CC
get
that
it.
we brought, it still wasn't possible to complete overall. And you can just tell trying to do that shit like they don't play the game at all whatsoever. So
Good
it
thing
speaks
I
for
got room.
itself.
I got no room in my inventory.
Um, what was gonna be my other thing? The mechanics was awful. Drop rate for the Tenebra. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it the right way. With the Tenny, the campaign mechanic, when you farm your assassins, kill all your assassins, you get a cube, and you use that cube to kill the Tenny. Well, the Tenny drops companion gear, and in the first couple, I want to say couple months, maybe, could have been sooner. The drop rate was just trash, and they knew it was trash, and because people was complaining about it, they allegedly fixed the drop rate so people can get companion gear. So, aside from that, because there was a lot of stuff wrong with this freaking campaign winners upon release was the weekly. There was like no weekly quest, and if it was, it only gave like 10 instead of our usual like 25 currency per weekly quest to cap. So the first week, like, I ain't gonna lie, maybe the first 2 months, you literally have to just like um do your weekly quest that only gave you 10, and then farm your regular quest, which only gave like 5
Bro, farming is
currency,
rotation
which
needed to buy that sword.
towards your weekly haul, which is just terrible. If your weekly haul,
EP
for those of you
MP
that
rotated
don't know,
all the time.
um, every time a
He's
campaign
actually
comes
right
out,
when he
there's a
says
weekly
that.
haul,
He
which
always
means
does.
you're capped out at 100 weekly currency per week, which resets on Mondays. Um, the quickest way to complete those is doing your weeklies, and in the other campaigns, the weeklies give you 25. Well, no, when they released this, it only gave you 10. So imagine doing 20 quests that only gave you 5. That's a lot of questing, a lot of hours. Nobody wants to farm campaigns anymore. Like, we're to the point where doing campaigns is like literally driving people away because it's just
Well,
so
Smacks
time
is
consuming
confusing.
for no reason whatsoever.
Kind of world are we living in?
And yeah, that's my thing on that. Ooh, let's talk about Inside, which is Master Shackles of
What do
Divinity.
you do?
Um, it was kind of
What
horrendous
does it
at
say?
first because the drop rate for like celestial gear was just awful. Like the first few months, I've never seen a piece drop as many times as I've, you know, been in the dungeon. And when I released my Warlock video, people was like, "Oh, you don't have any celestial." Like, bro, I was one of those players that was just unlucky with it, and nothing dropped for me, and I didn't like nothing dropped for me to roll on, nothing dropped for me in the chest. I ran out of keys, so I was just opening one chest at one point. So like, yeah, like it was awful. Um, Nowadays, most in-game people they just get their gear and leave, which kind of sucks, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Um, the boots and the arms and the rings were really good, but aside from that, like I think everything else was just poop gear, as you would say. Um, the only thing I really enjoyed, like if we look at the celestial equipment, right? The healers, like I'll probably say like the best in slot stuff for healers is probably the helmet. It gave you like 50% regen, which is huge, especially for like P7. For DPS, the best in slot piece that I would say was the
So
Celestial Arm
Shaxx is
piece, which
using
gave you
Ghost
8%
for heal
accuracy for single
spells?
target, and it gave you 4% CA just because. And then the
Because this guild
tanks, they
bros
had
trash.
the Ghosted Boots, which is really good. But aside from everything else, I don't think any of the other celestial gear was completely necessary for builds. I
That
think people
weak
just
win
want them, just to have higher item level, and
95%
the more
ability
item level as
checker.
a tank, the more HP you have, the more item level as DPS, the more damage you do per thousand item level you gain,
You
and
would
same
think
for
with his
healers, the more
OP,
item
you know
level,
what
the
I'm saying, bro? He'd be able to
stronger your
afford
heals
one.
get or whatever. But yeah, it all comes down to
Bro, last
stats
year I
and
would
whatever.
probably fund a kid's college, bro. Like,
Overall, even with the
Yeah,
celestial
like it's
gear,
mm,
it doesn't matter.
the
Um,
dynasty fund is
and I like to
trash.
explain this too. Like, I don't
It's
care
crazy.
how high your item level is. I don't care if you have all the celestial gear.
Oh, he got a wall up.
If you don't know how to play your tune,
Face.
whether it's tanking, DPS, or healing, if you don't know mechanics, I cannot play with you. Point blank, period. I've seen a lot of people
Oh, imagine if
get
we had a
their
second
gear or
DPS.
claim that they are experienced or claim that they know this and know that, rah, 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 rah. And we get them in, do the run,
Even if
and it don't even have to be inside. It could be Master Temple of Spider. It could be Master
another healer.
Wild Space. It could be ADM. It could be whatever. And they'll say they're experienced, and people aren't even experienced, and they'll cause a team to wipe or they'll die a lot, and you can see that. Like, I don't know why people think that they're not being watched when they're when you get into a queue with them. Like, I see people, especially if I'm on support, like I'm literally watching everybody's move. I'm watching how everybody's popping artifacts, how late we are, how early we are, if we're all on time. I'm literally watching like your movement, where you're standing, where I'm standing. I'm watching the healers, if they're spamming heals or not. Like I'm always, especially if I'm hosting, I'm always watching and looking around to see like who's to blame or what was the issue, what causes the wipe, stuff like that, just so us as a group we can get better. But yeah, it just doesn't matter. I've seen people get blacklisted just for like throwing runs. I don't know why people do this,
If you want just
but there's
runs,
literally
you
people
just
out there that's
do it.
like that throws runs. And what I mean by throw runs, like let's say somebody posts in PE or even in guild or alliance chat like, hey, we need a bar healer for this, and then I join, and then halfway through the run I either just kill myself or cause the team to wipe on purpose and be like, "Oh, my bad," and somebody sees it and like, "Yeah, you're trolling. Get this guy out of here." And they kick me. I literally seen a lot of people do that. Another thing I see people get blacklisted for is like rolling on gear you're not supposed to. So let's say like um, I'm playing on my Warlock as a DPS, and I see a tank chest piece. I'm like, ooh, celestial tank chest piece. Let me roll on that. And I end up winning. GG. Like, why would a DPS that cannot spec into tank roll for a tank chest piece? I'm not gonna go too in depth of it because I've seen a lot of people's pain and agony and people actually like I wouldn't say quit the game, but like stop playing the game because of that. Because yeah, there's a few people that's like, oh my bad, I didn't see it or I didn't read. Like when we kill a boss, the gear drops. There's two pieces, and you can either need, greed, pass. Press your touchpad or whatever to see. Like you should always pay attention. Like there's no excuse when it comes to that. I'm sorry. Like unless you're a burger, which most people aren't, but there's a lot of burgers in this game. Yeah. My next topic would be the half module, which is the PvP in a slaughterhouse arena. Me personally, the PvP was added 1v1 and 2v2. It was fun, but it still had its bugs yet again. I don't think they tested it. Um, like I don't even know if it's still going on, but like when we was doing it just for the fun or whatever, like there was just the queue times was quick, but sometimes it just click and click and click and click, and you would just be standing there and it could just say map transfer failed, blah 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 blah, whatever. It was terrible. And sometimes you don't even get queued in, you just waste another you have to wait the minute out. I think there's like a minute before it just kicks you out because the other team didn't join, and I think it gives you the win. No, it refunds your token at least. Yeah, I think it refunds your token, but yeah, it's just that's just
I'm
crazy.
bomb tripping, but that won't me.
On to the Slaughterhouse Arena. That's basically where you just fight like a bunch of mobs,
What's
and
up?
per round, and if you beat those mobs and bosses that's random
Okay.
after like 20 rounds, you get like a footprint illusion, which
Talk about calm
honestly,
down. He's just getting
like,
started.
who cares? Like, we want people want stuff to benefit the character. I mean, me personally, I can care less about fashion. You see my bard in the background. He kind of fashioned out a little bit, but that's because I was bored. Okay, I'm not just actively like, ooh, let's go do this for fashion. Like, no,
Oh, my
like
boy calling out though.
as an in-game player, I want to
It's been like half an
not
hour.
only
Why is that
show
never?
like I can, you know, DPS or heal or
Mm-hmm.
tank appropriately and flawlessly on mechanics, but I also want to like enjoy myself and have fun with friends and you know, just do stuff. That's what this game is supposed to be.
Afraid that you like my
It's not supposed to
videos,
be a
but
chore to do something over and over and over again, which is what campaigns and stuff like that that's like really like repetitive is getting like annoying
best
to
part
do.
is Mandy's in there too.
But yeah, and they also added like just recently to that, like if you do like 30 rounds, you will get another footprint illusion, but I think it's like of your
About to
choice
give you a
or some
bucket.
type of illusion. It's something. I'm not going that far. This came out like I want to say in August, and yeah, I've only been in there like 3 or 4 times just to help people and get my own. And since then, like, it's just so boring because it reminds me of the arena from Wild Space. Like it's literally just same thing, but with okay-ish rewards. Like, don't get me wrong, the rewards that you get, like the gear and the stuff you can open towards the end, it's pretty decent for new players. Like, if you haven't done any dungeons, if you haven't done your random queues, if you don't have any AD like that, by all means, go in there and get your gear, because that gear is like pretty decent. It's real high item level. Um, it's pretty decent to help you like get somewhere, but I would not wear that if you're trying to like min max your character though. But yeah. And then we'll talk about classic Neverwinter. Me personally, I hope they don't do classic Neverwinter, honestly, because if people that didn't play it, they don't remember. But classic Neverwinter was just absolutely horrendous. It was good in the way of like diversifying the game. Like we had 3 skill trees. Everybody had different builds. Um, there was feats you can get from your campaigns that was actually beneficial for your character. There was like at least I might be exaggerating this, but there's at least like
Oh
20
no.
different encounters you can pick from instead of like the standard what it's like feels like it's like 9 or 10 now, which also added diversity for your character. Like it, like yeah, classic Neverwinter, you also had to like get these tomes and you had to level up your camp.
Your wish was my
Not your
command.
campaign. You had to
Yikes.
level up your companion, and you have to
Hey,
use different rune stones, and then you have to put enchantments on your rune stone. Like it's so much that went into classic Neverwinter that took you so long to be in game versus nowadays. Like I just, this isn't World of Warcraft. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think Classic Neverwinter would just kill this game,
Oh yeah.
honestly. I don't think it's a really good idea.
Wouldn't be a Swiggy
Next thing
rating
up
period.
is the surveys. So let's talk about the surveys they just released.
Oh, sweating's not an issue.
I'm trying to remember because I didn't take any screenshots, but on those surveys they did, it was basically like telling us like, hey, fill this out. We want to get feedback from the player base, and I think it was just saying like, hey,
You'll be alright.
did
Just
you
like
enjoy
boosting every
Neverwinter?
day.
Why did you enjoy Neverwinter? What do you would like to see in the future? Like the areas such as like Waterdeep or Underdark, I think, and it was some other places I've never heard of. Shadowfell, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it was just stuff like that. Which classes you think is unbalanced? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are complaining about the warlocks and the bards, but honestly, I think um, people don't realize like they're not the only classes that's shining, especially in MSOT. Like I've seen, and I'm not gonna lie, like I've seen me and my friends, like we're really good at the game. I'll probably say we're high, we are literally high DPS. There are people that like we don't know that's beating us, and we play Warlock. My other friend he plays Warlock. I have another guy he plays Bard. We've all seen it. We've all seen like a HR beat us. We all seen a rogue beat us. We all seen um, a cleric, not necessarily beat us, but like stay on par, like within 100 mil, which is really good. Um, and then I'm working on like a fighter DPS, trying to get that up there. But yeah, there's even a barbarian and up in Legion, he's really good too, and he's like keeping up with us as well. So like I hate when people just say, "Oh, these are just meta classes." No. Learn your class. Every class can do it. It's doable. Like it's not just class dependent on who can do X amount of damage. Now, I will say I have not seen any good wizards lately. So, yeah. But yeah, with those surveys, I think I wanted to see like not just one dungeon, but like a dungeon skirmish for like each campaign. I wanted to see like more class feats and more options, diversity for us to use. I wanted to see the fighter and cleric get buffed up just a little bit because they need just a little bit more love, in my opinion, at least compete with like the bards, rogues, and whatever. Um, and yeah, so that's basically like the surveys or whatever. That's all I can remember. I was trying to remember something else, but I couldn't remember. Um, yeah, and then my next point, we'll talk over about what did I put here? The state of the current Neverwinter. We'll talk about the current Neverwinter state and how I feel. So, me as an in-game player for Neverwinter, um, I would say it's kind of iffy right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like this next module is gonna decide really if like I keep playing as often as I did this past module or not. Not saying I'll be quitting or whatever, but like this, it's been 6 months. We haven't had a new dungeon. I get they released a half mod and they were experimenting or whatever, but like we need me as a young player, we need like more stuff to do. Like I did a ridiculous idea I suggested as well. Like, hey, let's do release like 3 dungeons or release like 2 dungeons, some skirmishes, optimize the random queues to a higher item level, do a challenge mode Reaper. That's what people's been asking for. A harder Reaper. Um, and if you really want to be lazy, okay, let me stop sidetracking because I'm gonna sidetrack into like the other stuff. Um, but yeah. Oh yeah, so here's one of my points about the current state of Neverwinter. So there's a lot of end gamers who just get their gear and leave till next mod. I think on both sides. It also hurts the player base, and it can also like I also understand like the frustration of helping others who don't like heed to advice, and I understand why they get their gear and leave because like the game has nothing else to offer unless it's like another tune you make, but that just means you're going to spend more AD and more Zen and more resources to put into that, which just isn't. It's getting to the point where it's like it's getting too expensive to like upgrade a character or whatever to at least in game level. Cause it like, bro, I've been playing this Warlock for I don't know how long, and I just got like my mythic collars like this year. Like let that sink in. Like I was still doing really good without it. So yeah, he got that. People that's just here to make adjustments to their people who listen and make adjustments to their builds, or without that, there won't be any end gamers, and with no end gamers, such as myself, no massive content would be completed, which is true. And if it's not completed, the less player base equals more frustration. Because now the mid game players have to step it up and have no direction. Okay, yeah. That's why I was thinking like, um, if like a bunch of end gamers just like literally get the gear and leave, there won't be any people to like run master content, which would lead the mid game players like, hey, I want to run master, but there's nobody to guide them. They don't know mechanics, which is crazy, and that's what I think Neverwinter needs to think about when it comes to new stuff. They need to teach people like mechanics. I know a lot of people don't do the tutorial or whatever, but you know, people don't know mechanics. Sorry, I was trying not to be so monotone. Another thing I wanted to see in the future, Maz, is better campaigns. Like back in the day, we had campaigns that gave you like boons that was like beneficial for your character and your build. I would like to see that back again because like we're getting to the point with boons that we're literally collecting all of them, and there's not going to be enough. Um, you're just going to be wasting boon points now because there's just so many now, and I can really see a Boone overhaul coming soon, but hey, who knows? Um, Shout out to Tito. He wanted to say it first. Back in the not that a dungeon. Oh yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. Like they should add like a dungeon skirmish and a trial, like a trial, not trial, trial. A dungeon skirmish and trial. We are stale of just this one dungeon BS, especially for 6 months. Like, come on now. Like, this is why this game isn't really thriving. Like, there's nothing to do. Like, we're tired of the random queues. We're tired of Reapers. We're tired of these random boring skirmishes. We're tired of running M side. We're tired. And you can say, oh, why not just go back and do Tom? Bro, I'm not doing no Tom. I'm not wasting my scrolls because people can't heal. I'm not wasting the scrolls because people don't know mechanics. Again, mechanics. There's a lot of people in this game that don't know mechanics because all people are worried about is item level and getting in dungeons. That's it, which is terrible. Um, the past 5 mods should, um, going back to the campaigns and stuff, the past 5 modules, they need to be off of just being on there. Like, what was this? We had the Slaughterhouse Arena, which wasn't really a campaign. So you got Module 31, you got, uh, which is Shackles of Divinity. Before that was MDS, Dread Sanctum, which is Pirate Skyhold. Before that was Mount Hope now. Before that was, I think, yeah, Wild Space and Wild Space. I think anything before Wild Space needs to be Legacy. Because there should be no way we should be spending 10 weeks 10 weeks to complete a campaign. And for those people that don't know Neverwinter, that's putting it in perspective. That's why um, sometimes I be playing a game for so much. They be like, "What you doing?" I'm like, "I'm on Neverwinter." I'm like, "When you gonna hop off?" I'm like, "Bro, I gotta get this stuff done." And that's just for one character. Like, it doesn't say for all your other characters. So imagine doing that. Because I have 23 characters. Imagine doing that for at least 5 of those characters or 6 of them. Like maybe one day I get bored and like, hey, let me hop on my like right here. Like, hey, let me hop on my bard. Let me get him up to speed. No, it's gonna take time. And I'm not spending money in this game no more. Like those days are over. Like this game is not worth spending money on. I will say that. Um Another thing I wanna see like added to the game, um add meaningful weapon sets. Like I remember back in Elemental Evil days, they had you had your choice. You had the burning set. You had if you want to do DPS. You had the water set if you want to heal. You had the earth set if you want to like tank. You had the air set if you want like recharge speed or whatever. Like it was all different. Like I said, different, diversified. Nothing was like best in the slot, pretty much for the most part. Like you had like different ways to do stuff. Like I miss that from this game. And yeah, um, Another thing that they could add, what did I put here? Yeah, return back set bonuses. Well, I don't know why they stopped doing it. Like the ring sets, even though they were kind of ass from MTOS, but the ones from like Demon Web or even the ones from Zemnic, they were okay when they were out. I'm gonna be honest with you, they were okay. Like I ain't gonna say they were best in the slot, but they were okay, and those were the best rings to have, so mine as well. You know what I'm saying? Or even sets for like your armor. Like, hey, if you wear um two two of this armor set, you get 5% CA. Or hey, if you wear the full set, not only get 5% CA, but you also get 10% accuracy if you're a DPS. Like, bring something that can make us diversify our builds, that can make us stand out from different people. Because what you don't want is everybody wearing the same thing. But again, that's where the quote unquote meta word comes into play. Um, the same builds or whatever. And I get it, but bro, like, we need some different up in here, bro. Like, tremendously. Like, ASAP, no Rocky type of thing. Um, Another thing I want Tim, not Tim, who is Tim? I want them to do, bro, the Seal Vendor. We have to talk about it. It needs to be updated. It's been years, literal years. Why is it that we have this most recent module? It gives you 4,000 and something item level. You go to the Seal Vendor, which you get from doing your random queues. Um, that is like 1900. Who's gonna wear that? And the pieces are useless. So what's the point of seal gear? It's just like a lot of stuff. I feel like it's just getting outdated. Um, if they really don't want to like drop like all these dungeons or whatever, all they gotta do is revamp old maps and make it harder. For example, Demogorgon. I remember farming Demogorgon and getting a twisted set. That because I was best in slot back then. I think it gave you like power and something else, and it stacked to like 24 times or something. Like it was ridiculous. But yeah, that was like the best in slot. And then they revamped Demogorgon. They made it a campaign, and X, Y, and Z, and um, they made it harder with better gear. Like that's when they dropped like different sets and stuff. If they really don't want to like make a new map and do all that extra stuff, um, just do something like that. I'm not saying do Demogorgon again, because, I mean, I don't mind doing it again, but, like, I'd rather them revamp something like Castle Never. People don't know mechanics in Castle Never. Even not Tower, even Lair of the Mad Mages, people don't know mechanics in there. It's crazy. It's a lot of these dungeons people still to this day don't know mechanics. And it's like, who do you blame? Do you blame the guild leaders for being burgers? Not all of them, but like there's some guild leaders that also don't know mechanics. Do you blame them for not teaching their guilds? Do you blame the people for not doing their research? Do you blame the player for not going in that tutorial room and actually like paying attention to like learning those mechanics? Like it's crazy. How many people in this game don't know mechanics? Uh, Another thing I wanted to add is to, like I said earlier about diversifying the game. If you don't want to add more classes, by all means, just add more paragons. Like, give each class two new paragons. Like, that might be a little bit much, but maybe add like another paragon for each class or something. Or buff those classes or diversify those classes and add new feats. Like, if you go to the feat section, um, for any paragon, you have 10 feats to choose from, but you can only have 5 out of those 10. And there's still room right there to like add more feats, so maybe they'll add that in the future. Who knows? But that's what I would like to see. Um, they could add like, I really want them to add like a bunch of new classes. I'm not even gonna lie, cause I used to play World of Warcraft, and like this game has so much potential, but like is the delivery for some of the stuff that they miss out on is just crazy. Like they could add like a shaman or a druid or a monk or something, even a necromancer. I don't even care. But yeah, just diversify the game. Make Neverwinter great again. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's just crazy. Um, like I said earlier, like add a harder reaper mode. I believe they said they will, but I'm still waiting on that. Um, One huge thing that I really think they should really consider, um, like, cause a lot of games do this nowadays, is crossplay. Like, if you look at it, PlayStation is probably the most popular in terms of Neverwinter compared to PC and Xbox combined. Xbox, like, it's pretty much dead on Xbox, and then PCs, like, it's full of end gamers who just play whenever. So, why not just combine the servers or make a new server for Neverwinter to be on? Because these servers are a little bit burger-ish. So, do stuff like that. One of my other things I want to see in Neverwinter, a higher random Q eye level with better reward in the chest. Um, yeah, I don't know how many times I get pissed from doing a random queue that takes me. Well, it's been a minute since I did a random queue that took me that long, but there are times where I'll do a random trial or a random skirmish or a random dungeon, and simply because either A, people hasn't played this game that long as me and don't know mechanics, because the way I was brought back in the day, when those skirmishes and those dungeons came out, they were master content at one point, and you literally had to learn mechanics. And because of that, when they did their whole little overhaul and item level was getting too high, they added it all to the random queues. A lot of the newer players or mid game players, they wasn't here for those older dungeons, so they don't know mechanics. So whose job is that to teach mechanics? Is that mine? No. Is that the guild leaders? I say 30%. And then the player, I say it's 70% relying on them. Because when you level up your character, there's so many bosses you kill that has like a little bit of mechanics, not a lot, not all of them, just a little bit. But there's also a tutorial that you go through within the training room with that guy, and you have to accept the quest, I believe. And he literally teach you like split mechanic, the hypo, which is called soak in this game, but we call it hypo. Um, there's just so many mechanics. I can't even think of some, but like it's like when you see it, when I see it, I just act upon whichever mechanic it is, and it's just terrible how many people don't know mechanics. It's just crazy. Um, Aside from that, there need to be more ways that people can like sell and make AD in the auction house without them taking it away from us. What I mean by that, which is gonna lead to my next point, is about these damn celestial boxes, bro. These boxes came out, I believe last week, and they released, I forgot which companions, but the only ones that was useful that came as celestial was Spy and Devil. Why would you add shitty companions at celestial to drop, and they're not beneficial to the group except for Spy and Devil? Like, I wouldn't be this upset if they put like a Scorpion or a Dritz or Tutor or Portobello or even a Sartell. But no, they only had the Spine Devil. I mean, they had four other companions, but they're useless. I think one of them was, and I could be wrong. I think one of them was Hank the Ranger or Presto the Magician. I think one of them was Celeste. Like they don't benefit the team at all. Like why? I don't understand, bro. I just don't understand. And then, um, yeah. And this is me rambling on about Neverwinter. The last thing I had on my mind was simply about like the game overall. Um, what do I think? I think without any of these suggestions or improvements or Deca not being greedy for like fashion all of a sudden and trying to squeeze money out people, if this next mod just don't hit, and when I mean hit, like it has to hit. Like the campaign has to be really good. It has to be functional. Um, that master dungeon shouldn't be janky. We shouldn't have any lag issues. Companions should always spawn in when we go through phases. Um, we shouldn't have to take our illusions off just to run the dungeon. Like, there should be a harder Reaper mode. The random queues need to rework. We need, like, in this game needs some spice, and there's so much potential here in this game. And I just feel like they just dropped the ball on it. But who knows? I could be wrong. We just have to see until the next module, for real. But I'm not gonna wait another module. Like this next module, it has to be like it just has to be different. Or I just won't be playing as much as I've been playing. I might just be like um just playing Wizard 101, having fun on that. But yeah, I lied. There are some dumb people in this game, and I want to point that out. There are some burgers, some potatoes, and some scrubs. They're in all different categories, but there are some people that don't, like I said, don't know mechanics. They don't know how to pop artifacts. They don't know how to tank. They don't know how to heal. They don't know how to DPS. Who do you go to? What is the solution? You don't listen to advice that we give you. So how are you going to help yourself if you don't want to help the group? Me personally, if I want to do more damage, I'll go to the next person above me, especially if they're the same class. Hey, let me see your build. What are you doing different? Let me see your feats. There's not a lot of people that's not gatekeeping their build from people. People are willing to share and give advice and give, what I'm saying, good judgment to, people, but there's so many people who just so prideful and think that they're right about every single thing and just be whatever. Stay tuned. Thank y'all for watching. Please stay tuned and see you in the next video.
Here we go again. I see you tryna fall out some clothes again.